Sara you have actually gone global. And I was wondering, what keeps you dedicated to your work, and what has helped you to actually have such growth?
First of all, you don't start growing in your vocation when you are as old as me. You start growing in it when you are young, when you are a child. For instance, I started realizing that I'm called to the job when I was 6 years, when we went on the streets to sell, when we were poor. And I grew to understand that yes, there is poverty, yes, there is suffering, but also the life ahead has hope. The life ahead has got light. The life ahead has got people who hold your hand and walk with you. So I started developing positive energy. I started developing angels around me. I started developing good dreams. So I can say my work has grown from since I was 6 years up to 40 years. I've seen every day spiritual angels, everything talking in my heart to say there is good coming, not only for you, for someone. There are times that I found myself with no money to give to a girl, but all of a sudden someone goes to our PayPal and I see 200 pounds. As long as I commit those material resources to those who need them, spiritually I'm always awarded. So I have received so many things spiritually. Many people don't value those things. So that's how far my work has made me bigger than problems. Challenges have been there. You get called names. People don't trust you. You get so many obstacles as you do this work. But what he has taught me to stay stronger is the fact that every day someone with encouraging words come. Someone with a new vision comes my way. Someone to hold my hand comes my way.
Okay. As an individual, you have achieved a lot. But do you hope to achieve more in regard to your vocation? Like, is there an ultimate goal that you're aiming for?
Oh yes, yes, definitely. I'm hoping one day to be a global leader, working maybe for the United Nations, most strategic points closer to the United Nations Secretary General. And even if I am to be the Secretary General, I would love to. Right now, I have made a big strides towards that position. I am now a gender-based violence expert for the United Kingdom Foreign Office. I've been called by a credible government, a good government, to go on the ground and help women who are being raped in war-torn countries. It's a scary job. One would shiver to do such work, but it's a calling. So I can say I'm one step towards getting to the top United Nations job. I know if I get there, I'll be able to influence leaders. I'll be able to support my charity that I started. I will also able to influence many other people to do good in order for the situation of girls, which is so appalling at the moment, to change.
Well, obviously your work is very important to you. If you've actually had to be the leader for that long, and I was wondering, like, is there anything that ever made you feel like quitting, like, and how did you go through it?
Yes, sometimes you feel like, oh well, why can't I let it go? But I think what has happened with me right from age 6 is that this is something stuck in my heart. If it goes, my life also goes. It's almost like my breath. It's almost like my heartbeat. When I'm not doing the work, I feel my heartbeat gone. So I feel my life gone. So I have developed it into part of who I am. Separating it from me is so difficult. So there are times where, especially in Zimbabwe, where I actually left the country because of the political situations and all these accusations and everything. But I did not leave the vision. I put it in my handbag, left the country, and I'm still doing it from another safe area. So sometimes I would leave a place, but I won't leave the vocation.
From what you've been doing in Zimbabwe and Africa and around the world, I think it's safe to say that you've earned yourself a name in Zimbabwe as a very tenacious and diligent person that stands by what she believes in, amid all the external negativity and hostility from the government and like other individuals. But what gave you the strength to just carry on with your work? And
can you come again?
Like I think it's safe to say that you've earned yourself a name in Zimbabwe as a very diligent person that stands by what she believes in, despite all the negative comments and hostility from the government.
Mm-hmm.
But was there any external help from other people that actually kept you going?
Oh yes, I received a lot of help. I received help from an organization called Ashoka because I'm a fellow. The good part about my work is that I had built so many networks supporting me personally. So Ashoka came to assist me and they kept on supporting me financially. And then I got support from CNN. There's a time when people were writing a lot of negative things on the internet about my work and trying to stop it, stop donors, stop everyone else. But when CNN got me as a hero, all that stopped. It was like a giant stepping in to say, this is good work. Why do this to good work? So people were very ashamed. They walked away in an ashamed way because through images, through actually highlighting my work, CNN brought even one of the biggest women actresses in the world, Nicole Kidman, to actually endorse my work. It's all over on the internet. It's all over on YouTube. Once that happened, those people stopped. So yes, I've been in situations where people hold my hand. People know how difficult it is to do this work. And so they've come actually to help in a very, very, very powerful way.
Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years or so, in regard to your work?
My work is going to grow. My work is going to be the biggest thing that has ever happened in the world. My work has actually already put me in a position where now I'm actually reaching out to more people. So I'm certainly what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a global leader. I wanted to tell people my story. I dreamt whilst I was on the streets as a vendor that you can be like those big women, you can be like those big men. So I am that. I didn't want to stay in the rubbles. God never created me to live a life where I'm miserable, a life where I'm a victim. God created me with all potential. God created me also to be a blessing to other women and girls. So I've done exactly that.
You came from a disadvantaged background, and most wouldn't go as far as you have with the little you had. And I actually know that you've got so many poems that you wrote. And tell me, how did you become such an articulate and eloquent person?
Most of me was built by my self-determination and hard work. Every day you wake up and you say, what sentence can I write? What paragraph can I write? What page can I write? What book can I write? So I later realized that when I was on the streets of St. Mary's, or when I watched my father abusing my mother, and I was a little girl who could stand up and say, Mama, you can't be abused. That was poetic in itself. That was an expression. That was what God wanted me to do, not only to my mother. So had I not seen problems in the home, I wouldn't have been where I am today. So sometimes we are not schooled by books in class. We are schooled by experiences. So I'm one girl who was schooled by experience more than academic. Everything that you see that I do, be it a poem, nobody took a blackboard and whatever and say, sit down, I'm going to teach you a poem. My poems came from my experience, my feelings. My poems were the music for freedom, were the music for peace in the home. I wanted things to work well. So poetically, I used to say every word. And now, as you see, I'm now putting everything down.
That's very inspirational, right? As a highly esteemed women's rights activist, surely a woman of your caliber would have philosophical ideas. Like, are there any that you would like to tell me about today that you actually came up with?
Oh, yes. I'm actually going to be publishing my philosophical book on how experience moves you from a victim into victory. I always believe that nobody in this world was born crying because of pain. Everybody was born crying and shouting that I am here. So everybody who is not here, we must take them. And also I've come to see that the spiritual world links us to action. You cannot be a full person without the spirit constantly taking you to a next level. So all that I am today did not come from the fact that I'm flesh. All that I came from was a breathing out of my spirit. I also have a philosophy that once you've got angels around you, no devil can conquer. You can imagine how many devils were knocked out of my area. Everybody who tried to knock me out, they were knocked out. Everybody who tried to tarnish my name, they were tarnished back. So I've got enemies I saw falling away. I've got devils that I saw falling away, and many more fall away every day. Why? Because this work is important. It must be done.
Yeah. From the interview, I actually understand that your most of your life actually revolves around religion, particularly Christianity. And I was just wondering, what do you think is the relevance of religion in our modern society?
I think religion remains with the most basic principles. All the rules that we are making in our countries, like big constitutions, will never be bigger than the 10 Commandments. Whatever rules that we are making all come from the 10 Commandments. So as long as people adhere and stick to the 10 Commandments that Jesus gave, we are not going to have killings, we are not going to have fightings, we are not going to have adulterous people, we are going to have people who are upright. And also what I see, everything taught in the Bible, had it been followed as it is, we could have built better societies. But also, I am one woman who also challenges the Bible, especially when people use it negatively to oppress women. Some people always think that we came from Adam's rib in order for us to be oppressed. We came by his side so that we are partners, not slaves. So people abuse the Bible. So I'm also there to say, you don't abuse the Bible. The Bible was meant to make things good and not bad.
That is all for today now.
Oh, thank you so much. That's a brilliant interview. Thank you, Tinashe.
Yeah, I'll be sure to actually write a lot about this because I actually got about 24 minutes. recording.
Thank you. It is my pleasure to just respond to some of the questions that came from Tabitha Mutenga, who is a journalist with the Financial Gazette in Zimbabwe. She actually wrote to me to say, Betty, I need your views and comments on the seriousness of the 16 days of activism against gender violence in Zimbabwe. What benefits are there? Is it just a mere campaign as women continue being bashed every day, as protection orders issued by civil courts increase every day? What should be done so that the message is heard? I think here Tabitha has got some very pertinent issues. She has got some very serious concerns about how practical a campaign can be in actually stopping the violence in the home. I think to a greater extent, I just want to agree with you, Tabitha. I will explain why I totally agree with you and why you are raising a very important question. And at the same time, I will just try and give credit to the 16 days of activism in as far as I